A friend of mine posted on Facebook today, and it let me know she was struggling right now. And the post, I have it pulled up here, it says depression is sleeping through the day in a dark room. Depression is ignoring calls and texts from family and friends. Depression is feeling lonely but not wanting company. Depression is a disease. It's called the silent killer for a reason. And if you're still here today, I love you. So I read that post, and I personally do suffer from anxiety and depression, you know, PTSD and all that stuff that comes with it. A lot of stuff. But it just made me realize that a lot of people are suffering from depression. And when you talk to people who suffer from what is considered to be like a normal form of depression, like everybody gets depressed. Nobody doesn't get depressed. Someone that doesn't get depressed, I've never met a person like that. But when people suffer with depression and have been diagnosed with it, um, I don't know. It just feels like the length of the time of the depression is longer. The depth of the depression is deeper. A lot of times people need different forms of therapy to regulate their depression. Some people even need medication to regulate their moods and things of that nature. And if you suffer from depression, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a part of who you are. And if you're dealing with that depression on your own and you find yourself in a cycle, basically recycling moods, recycling situations and circumstances, you may need therapy. And then you got people who say, they don't want to talk to a therapist because they don't want to talk to a stranger, or for whatever reason, they don't want to talk to a therapist. Um, I was one of those people. I remember when I first went to therapy back in the day, I was in my 30s and I'm 56 now. And I remember being so embarrassed and so ashamed. And I remember sitting in my car crying boohoo real tears because I was so ashamed that I had to go into this building that had the word psych support on the door. I don't know why they put psych support on the door of a place like that. Like everybody want them to know that we're going in there to get psych support, but that's a different story. But and I fought it tooth and nail, fought it tooth and nail. Um, and I'd be on and off in therapy. And I saw my cycle when I look back on my life. I saw all these patterns that I've now broken because in 2021, I had a situation that let me know that I needed to either get help or I wasn't going to be here on this earth anymore. So I went back to therapy, and I went through, I want to say, a couple therapies. One of them was really good, but she ended up relocating to a different practice. I went through to one who couldn't understand what I was talking about. She just kept looking up in her head like this, asking me what I thought it meant. So I knew she wasn't a good fit. And I say all that to say that therapy is like medicine. Like if you have high blood pressure and they give you one medication, and that medication gives you an adverse reaction and doesn't produce the desired effect that medicine is supposed to produce, because they give you the medicine not because they know how it's going to affect your body, but because they know what that particular medication is supposed to do for your diagnoses. But yeah, if that medicine doesn't work, they'll say, well, you know what, we're gonna stop. They'll change the dosage, or they may even switch the medication altogether. Same thing with a therapist. If your therapist is not a good fit for you, if she don't sit well with your spirit, or if he don't sit well with your spirit, or you feel like they just aren't a person where you can talk to and feel like you can just open yourself wide for that scrutiny that has to be involved. Because if you're not going to tell the whole truth in therapy, there's no reason to go to therapy. You're just wasting time and the therapist's time. She just can bill for that. But yeah, if you feel like that therapist is not going to be a good fit for you, then you can easily say, hey, so and so and I aren't a good fit. In schedules with another one. I've never gone to therapy and got the right therapist the first time out. But this last therapist that I had for short term therapy, I saw her for about a year, I want to say. And she really got me. And we got a lot of good work done. We got a lot of good work done. So I say all that to say that if you're somewhere right now like me, and you suffer from depression, you know, and different types of things may trigger your depression. For me, it's holidays, certain seasons, certain smells. Definitely Mother's Day, Father's Day is approaching, and I know that I'm in a funk right now. Like I have completely isolated on purpose because I'm really wrong right now. Things could really go wrong, so it's best for me to just be by myself and be still. You know, I'm supposed to be posting a poem right now, and I'm just not a poet right now. I could be painting right now. I'm just not a painter right now. I like to read. I'm not a reader right now. Got loads and loads of records I could listen to. I don't want to listen to music right now. I don't want to have to sit down and figure it out what I want to listen to. And I know that right now I'm in a state where I'm only doing what I have to do and nothing more. Um, and that's a form of depression for me because I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I'm a creator. I create, you know? So I recognize that this is a pattern for me. So all I do is I'm very mindful of how I respond to when I want to just lay down and stay in the bed all day. I'm keeping my circle so small that no one can get on my nerves. If you know that if you entertain the notion of certain people, they make you feel a certain way on some subconscious level, whether they're trying to or not, it's best not to deal with them because when you're in a state like this, me, like I am, I speak my mind real strong. And I'm going to tell you what I think. And you're not going to talk crazy to me and make me think that I'm thinking crazy when I know that I'm making good sense. So rather than have those conversations that could end in me like blowing up a whole bridge and saying fuck it and meaning it, I'm just being still into myself right now. you know. And if you're one of those kind of people who suffer from depression, I say all that. I don't know how I made that all about myself, but that wasn't the point of this video. But if you suffer from depression, you are not alone. And lots of people suffer from depression and anxiety. If you're not trying to do some research to figure out how you can either help yourself or help yourself into realizing that you need help helping yourself, then you should get comfortable in your depression, because that's where you will remain. You will remain the way that you are. And if you want to have brighter days, you want to sleep better and have recuperative sleep where you're not tossing and turning up all night and all the stuff that comes along with depression. You want your blood pressure to go down. You know what I mean? You want your health to incline instead of to decline. You need to address your depression. Because if you don't, it is a silent killer. Because depression causes all kind of other stuff to go wrong in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, in your daily life, in your personal life, professional life. Depression is not your friend. And if you've gotten used to being that person who's always depressed, that's not a good look. Because people don't want to be around you even if they are around you. And if they are around you, they're talking about how depressed you always are. That's not a good look. So you want to fix that. You do. You want to fix that. So anyhow, you are not alone. You are more than enough. And you are strong enough to combat something that you don't have any control over. You know? So yeah. I wanted to share that today because it was on my mind, because I personally have been in a funk that I know I'm in a funk. I know I'm in a funk right now. Anytime I'm not painting, writing, reciting, making music, creating something, I am in a funk. Anytime I don't want to be bothered, I am in a funk. Anytime I gotta make myself go somewhere, even though I don't even want to go there, and then I gotta sit there and try to pretend to eat, I'm in a funk. And I know it. And I know exactly why I'm in a funk, because it's about to be Father's Day. Period. You know, and there's a whole lot to that. But I'm aware of it, whereas before I wasn't aware of it. And I am about to go and light up my grill and put me some freaking crabs on the grill and get me some good old corn on the cob going. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to relax and be still on purpose with my dog. And I am going to go through the motions of not feeling like I'm in a funk, because I don't have to. I don't have to look like I feel. I don't have to act like I feel. I don't have to be fake about it. But I definitely don't have to sit here and be sad, and I don't have a reason to be sad or feel depressed when I don't have a reason to really be depressed, other than the fact that things that were piled upon me that have given me PTSD. You know, a symptom of that is this freaking anxiety and depression and all these triggers. But yeah, I'm healing by example. Every part of me is broke. Every part of me is broke, and I don't mean like in the pockets. I mean like I'm sad on the inside. I got some reasons to be sad on the inside. A lot of us do. But will we let that sadness dictate the way that we are presented in this world, the way that we respond to the world? That's too much like letting the source of the sadness win to me. You know, I will not let the source of the sadness get to pretend. And in the end, I'm the only one that's walking around here feeling the kind of way. I don't want to have a chip on my shoulder. I don't want to be angry at the world. I don't want to wonder how come I had to be born into what I was born into for what happened to me to I don't want to have to worry about that, because that was then and this is now. And right now I have complete control. And so do you. You have complete control. And you get to determine how long you dwell in your sadness. That's your power. I'm not saying don't be sad. I'm not even saying don't be depressed and take a day to yourself to lay up underneath your warm covers and just be still. I'm just saying don't get stuck there. And don't let that be the topic of your conversation every time you speak. Because I promise you, the people who I talk to about my stress I got one, maybe two people who can hear me when I speak. Who can hear me when I speak. Other than that, if I talk to somebody about how I'm feeling, the conversation always goes back to how they feel the same way, or how they feel like that's something that everybody feels. Everybody is not going to be empathetic. A lot of times people don't want you to feel how you feel, because now they got to concentrate on you. I've got somebody who I'm very close to, and I found out here recently that it just serves me no purpose at all sharing how I feel with this particular person, because all I ever get back is the similarities in our lives. And I'm not talking about your life. I'm telling you that my depression is dangerous and you can't hear me. So that's why you don't hear me. Yeah, that's how that goes. But anywho, I just want to tap in because I saw that post and it's Sunday and I'm supposed to be doing a post anyway. And I really did want to tell the people in this world, have a heart. When somebody is around you and they're not right, if you're not going to contribute to how they can be right, be quiet. Because anything else you say is just going to make them see how alone they really are in this world. And that's how they're feeling in that moment. And you're compounding it with this loneliness. And you're right there. So be quiet. Leave people to their own stuff if you're not going to help them. You know, people are just selfish by nature, I know. Because we are ourselves. But if you cannot extend your heart to feel someone's pain, mind your business and stop inserting yourself, because you only make it worse. So I want to throw that. I want to throw that out there to the people who are not good for people who suffer with depression. You're not doing anybody any favors. Just be quiet, because you're. Some people are contributors to positive health, and some people are not. So yeah, what do you think?